So I've got a bit of a challenge today. How do you review something where the main selling points is how it smells and how it feels over video? So I've been using AKT deodorant for about a year now. These are all bought, none of these are freebies. I kind of have a rule with my normal person reviews that if I haven't spent my own money on it, I'm not going to review it. It kind of goes without saying, I am a fairly hairy, sweaty man. Trying to find the right deodorant hasn't always been easy. I have used sprays, I've used deodorants, I've used antiperspirants, I've used roll-ons, I've used sticks, and generally speaking, they kind of do what they say they're meant to do. Have had some that have been fantastically effective at cutting down on sweating, but then actually it just irritated my skin. And so actually I wanted something that meant I smelled nice and meant I didn't sweat quite so much. My wife has used some of the natural deodorants that you see crop up on Instagram every so often. I'm sure you've seen the one with the aluminium stick pusher thing, and she got it and she said it was nice. She did say it was nice. I found AKT actually coincidentally through Instagram, and I decided to give it a punt, and yeah, I've kind of been hooked ever since. And then my wife started using it and has since ditched the other one. It's part of what they're about is they are gender-free, cruelty-free, plastic-free, so it's vegan. There are 5 scents. Let's go back to the beginning. There are 5 scents. When I started, there were 3. These were the 3 available. So Orange Grove, After Thunder, and the Onsen. This was the one that I started with. I got an order of this one to try it and I decided I really liked it. After Thunder, it's meant to smell like that petrichor sort of smell. It's a very, very clean scent. I don't want to go too much into me trying to describe all the smells. Oh, this reminds me of vanilla that I once had on a beach in Tahiti, and frankly, unless you were with me on that beach in Tahiti, that's gonna mean nothing. So I'll try and be a bit more general about how these things smell. I've got an open one, let me go and grab that. So, like I said, I've been using these for about a year now, and so they've been on my dressing table. I've gone through a number of tubes of different flavors and different smells. I've tried all of them, but there's a new one that arrived today, which is why I'm doing the review. This one sort of smells to me like the classier, more grown-up version of what most deodorants are trying to be. So you know when they say cool, fresh? Yeah, I'd say that's probably the closest thing to that. I then tried the others. You've got the Onsen. This is a really interesting one. I think this one will divide people. You'll either love it or you'll think it's a bit weird. It smells like smoked lavender, and I love it. And to give you some indication of actually how well the smell lasts, one of my friends gave me a hug. At the end of the day, I'd put it on after my shower in the morning. At the end of the day, gave me a hug and said, "Ooh, you smell like toasted lavender." Which A, the fact that they spotted it immediately was quite cool, but B, actually, yeah, the smell had lasted the whole day, so that was pretty good. Orange Grove, which I was concerned about having read the notes because I was convinced it was just going to be very, very, very orangey. I think Orange Grove is probably a good name for it. It is kind of orange and wood. It's definitely got a more citrus scent than all the others, but it's not going to make you smell like marmalade. Halcyon Summers. This one I like. It's essentially, it's not dissimilar to After Thunder. It's got that freshness. I would say if anything, it's got slightly less, warmth isn't the right word. There is a very slightly smoky, earthy edge to After Thunder. This one is essentially After Thunder without the earthy edge. The first 3, the Orange Grove, the Onsen, and After Thunder, smell so completely distinct. When this one came out, to be honest, coming up with a 4th completely different smell, I thought was going to be difficult. And when it was then reasonably similar to this, it doesn't differentiate itself hugely from this, I kind of thought, okay, maybe they've run out of tricks. But actually, the more I use it, the more I realize that winter, summer versions, potentially. This one arrived today. And for the B-roll, I've already squeezed some out and had a smell of it. And it's Columbia Road. If you don't know, Columbia Road is a flower market in London. They're calling it cut flowers, a good cup of coffee. I was worried it was going to be way more floral than I wanted it to be. And I've tried it, and I'd say it's more floral than the others. None of these are men's scents or women's scents. They are for everyone. I would say if we were going to start assigning gender roles to these inanimate tubes of deodorant, I would argue this one is possibly on the more feminine side. When I first smelt it, it had a real floral talcum powder sort of smell. And actually now that it's warming up, yeah, I see where they're coming with there is kind of more greenery, more vegetalness, that kind of cut stems, less flowers. I'm not quite sure where they've managed to work a good cup of coffee into their tasting notes. Maybe that's more just the feeling rather than the smell. But yeah, this is really nice. I have only just started using this one literally 10 minutes ago, so it'll be interesting to see how this one gets on. At the moment, it's not my absolute favorite, but I see where they're going, and I think Emma will like this one. So to give you a bit of background on AKT, started by two actors, hence the title. I was calling it AKT for a long time, but no, apparently it's AKT as in actor. They were on stage in the West End and finding that most of the deodorants they were using was just not cutting the mustard, so they decided to make their own, and this was where it came from. So it's plastic free, so it's all in recyclable aluminium tubes. The packaging, they have redesigned their packaging to make sure that actually this will now fit through almost every post box. When you order it, it doesn't have to be in a big box. Vegan, so cruelty free, never tested on animals. They claim they tested on all of their friends and other actors, and they're gender free as well. So they're clearly not trying to push the this is a boy smell, this is a girl smell type idea, even though I may have just accidentally relabeled one of them. Sorry. One little thing that is worth bearing in mind, and actually I don't know why this is, and I suspect it's to do with the formulations of each of them. Some of them have slightly different textures in terms of the actual cream itself. This one, which I've just tried, the After Thunder and the Halcyon Summers, are all definitely slightly more chalky. It's still a paste, but it's got a slightly more chalky texture. The orange and the onsen, they are slightly more oily. Now, I haven't noticed any difference in terms of how it feels, like how my skin feels, any condition with like blocked pores or anything like that, but just, yeah, Emma has said she really likes the orange one because it feels smoother to put on. Make of that what you will. They do a couple of other bits and pieces. You may have noticed this little turny twisty key thing. This is called the Assistant. Comes in a little box because essentially with the no waste thing, they want to try and make sure you get everything out the tubes, so it's a little key to be able to turn it out. I think it's a really neat idea. It will last you for a very long time. I would say it's maybe not something to get with your first tube, unless actually they sometimes do really good deals where it comes with the first tube, and in which case, if it comes with the first tube and it's the same price as getting a normal tube, just get that. I've now got 5 because we tend to have all 5 flavors open at the same time. And then they do a slightly odd thing. To be honest, if this hadn't been part of a deal where I wanted to get all 3 flavors, scents, smells, you know what I mean. Actually, to buy all 3 separately was the same cost as to get all 3 with one of the keys and one of these. It's called the applicator, and essentially it's so that you can put it into your armpits without just rubbing it. Because that is the slightly odd thing about this, that every other deodorant I've come across, whether it's a spray, whether it's a stick, whether it's a roll-on, you don't have to actually touch your armpits. But yeah, you put it on your fingers and you can rub it in. Or you can get this. Essentially, you put it on here and you wipe it into your armpit, and it's very nice. They also have a recommended routine that you can massage it and stroke it across your body, and I've tried it a couple of times. It is really nice. I'm not sure it's going to become part of my daily ritual, but actually it's just quite a nice feeling. It's a good solid chunky bit of brass. It does patina with time and use, and it's quite a pretty thing. It is utterly unessential. The key, on the other hand, I would say the Assistant, I would say that's pretty useful. So let's just very quickly round up what I really like about it. So I like the fact that there are 5 scents. I like the first 3 scents are probably my favorite, and actually the one that I wear almost all the time is the purple. I still think of them as the purple and the orange and the green and the grey and now the violet. Ease and convenience of using it. I like the effectiveness of how long it lasts. Like honestly, I have never come across a deodorant where essentially I don't feel like I need to also wear aftershave, because actually this smells good enough for both and lasts a long time. And I like the fact that it makes me feel, it's not an antiperspirant, but it does make me feel like I sweat slightly less. It's got some kind of, they call it a deo barrier. They've got a clever name for it, have a look on their website. But essentially, it stops you sweating a little, but it's not gonna block your pores. Generally, I think it's fantastic. If I had criticisms, I want to buy all 5. I suspect they're trying to point you towards the idea of you pick your scent, you get that one. They've got a subscription, you get 15% off if you get the same one delivered every 6 weeks. I like choice, and I understand that's weird, and it's the same reason why I have just too many of everything, because I don't want to just have the same one again and again and again and again. I like the options. And so I want to be able to buy all 5 in a multi-pack with a bit of a discount. And there isn't an option to do that at the moment. And it's silly, but it just bugs me, and that's fine. I'm sure they will change it. You can buy 3 and it comes with a key. I don't need another key, I've got 5 keys. But there should be a simple way to buy all of them. The other thing, and again, it's a little thing, is the lid. And there are 2 parts to this slight issue. Number 1, this little tiny lid is way too easy to lose. It is completely aluminium. I love the fact that it's completely recyclable, but I've managed to step on one and it wouldn't go back on. And sometimes they can just roll off the side and you lose them and then you've lost it. It seems to me if you've got this ability to manufacture nice brass things, like the key, like the applicator, one really good option would be to come up with a nice brass lid that would look pretty and make it look even more beautiful. And you could buy one lid that will then last you that tube again and again and again and again. The other thing they could do within that lid, and if you take this idea, if you see this video and you decide this is a good idea, you can have this idea, but inside that lid you could have a way of actually cutting the aluminium seal over the tube, because that is a little bit annoying. It's again, it's minor things. I was gonna say it's first world problems, but to be honest, if you're watching a man do a review on deodorant, to be honest, you're already in that world, so that's fine. Like, you care about these things. But the lid, because it's all one piece of aluminium filled from the bottom, rolled up, etc., top piece is sealed when you get it. It's relatively tricky to open these. And I say that as somebody that works with my hands for a living. It's not that hard to get them open, but it's hard to get them open neatly and cleanly. And the first couple that I did always came out sort of squirging out the side with weird cuts in it because I hadn't got it neat and tidy. My current technique is take a little pair of nail scissors, cut around the side, and then twist it in the end to be able to smooth off the outside and deburr the edges. And that works absolutely fine. But it's definitely, there could be a simpler solution. So if they had a little pretty top, you could make that out of brass with a little bit of thing in the inside, and then essentially you then screw it on, tighten it up, and it cuts out the middle for you. So there's an option there. But yeah, apart from that, actually, I love it. It's fantastic. Like I said, not sponsored. I just really like it, and I generally believe that if I like something, I should tell people about it, because you see enough people on the internet that decide to tell people about stuff they hate. I don't think there's enough positivity going on in the world, and so yeah, spread the love. Thank you very much for watching. I understand this has been a very long time of watching a man talk about stuff he puts in his armpits, which is a bit odd. There are other normal person reviews from other stuff that I've reviewed. If you'd like to come watch them, please feel free to check it out. But otherwise, thank you very much. Bye-bye.